In this land, there is enough for everyone's need.
But there's not enough for some people's greed.
But there's not enough for some people's greed.
But there's not enough for some people's greed.
Greed.
Greed. Greed.
In this land, there is enough for everyone's need, but there is not enough for some people's greed. Mahatma Gandhi. Caring for the future. Who cares?
Who cares?
In Ho Chi Minh City, nearly 100% of the dwellings are shabby. Almost 100% of the families are without toilet.
In New York, at any night, 23,000 men and women sleep in the streets.
At this moment, 820 million people earn nothing, or too little to provide for themselves.
By the year 2025, there will be over 1.3 billion of them.
At this moment, 800 million people are undernourished.
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 When I'm 40, there will be over 1.3 billion of them.
Do we care?
Do we care?
Do we care?
Do we care? How can we care for each other if we can't even care for the earth?
In the year 2000, the growth of the world population will reach its peak with an increase of 88 million people in that year.
The growth will stretch the carrying capacity of Mother Earth to the limit and beyond.
How big a load can humankind impose on the worldwide environment before it loses its capacity to support human activity? Where do we get tomorrow's food from?
Where do we get tomorrow's food from?
Where are the materials to produce pots and pans,
Pots and pans,
but also cars and fridges?
cars and fridges.
And where the water to drink, to prepare food with, to wash with? Moreover, the explosive growth of the world population hits those countries hardest that in terms of prosperity and quality of life have already so very little. And in the rich countries, where there is less growth, the population is aging.
More and more people are no longer actively employed. That makes the population issue a worldwide problem.
But it's not about statistics, it's about people.
People. People.
People.
People who want to live, to play and to work. People who are healthy, but sometimes become ill. People who want to learn and be taught by well-trained teachers.
People who want to care for themselves and for each other.
A lot will be required of the carrying capacity of whole humankind. Do we care?
Do we care?
In the pursuit of improving the quality of life, we feel supported by the often revolutionary developments in the field of technique and science. We are capable of producing more and better. But in spite of all this technological knowledge, in spite of improvements in the field of education and healthcare, poverty grows more rapidly than prosperity.
Poverty grows more rapidly than prosperity.
Poverty grows more rapidly than prosperity. Until recently, development aid was mainly directed at the economical development of third world countries.
Policies encourage the development of local trade and industry, and the realization of the conditions of setting up that industry.
But over the past years, we haven't made sufficient progress. There is still a shortage of food, a shortage of good health care, and shortage of education. Donating money to big and small projects is only a part of the solution. And, however much we would like to, if we would like to raise the whole world population's economical level to ours, we would have to have the materials of 5 Earths.
Not to mention the effects on nature. If we can't care for the earth, we won't be able to care for each other.
If we can't care for the earth, we won't be able to care for each other.
Yes, the carrying capacity of the earth and the caring capacity of humankind are inextricably bound up with each other.
We will have to redefine development and development aid.
Sustainable improvement of the quality of life, while respecting the carrying capacity of the earth, requires inclusion of a new dimension, namely the carrying capacity of humankind.
Every human being will have to have access to the basic conditions for a dignified life.
The right to a job,
Housing,
Housing,
The right to education and the opportunity to be trained.
The possibility to make use of the basic health care and to exercise one's democratic rights.
This requires a change in attitude on the part of adults. Caring as an ethic will be the guiding principle of this change. A new balance in this world is needed among societies, economies, and the environment. A balance in which cooperation is more important than competition. Balance is more important than growth.
Balance is more important than growth.
Balance is more important than growth.
Caring for ourselves, our neighbors, and our environment by observing the rights pertaining to all of humankind.
In this world, there is enough for everyone's need, but there is not enough.
There's not enough.
There's not enough.
There is not enough.
There is not enough. There's not enough for everyone's greed.
Caring for each other means caring for the earth.
Caring for each other means caring for the earth.
Caring for each other means caring for the earth. Caring for the future. Who dares? Who dares? Who dares? Who dares?